everyone, welcome to 1814. Today, as you can notice, I look pretty different. Today I'm at the ranch and I'm meeting with Rachel, the owner of Goat Yoga Houston. And as always, we're gonna talk about entrepreneurship. Stay tuned! Hello Rachel. Before we start, can you please tell our audience who is Rachel Hanson and what she does?
So I'm Rachel Henson. I'm the owner of Goat Yoga Houston. Been doing that for almost 4 years now. I did my yoga teaching certificate in Nicaragua for 30 days with no electricity, no sugar, and no running water. So I like to think I'm a little bit adventurous. And then before I started this, I actually worked in the corporate world doing advertising, marketing, and then also I was a district manager for Advanced Auto Parts for about 4 years. So I know a lot about cars, a lot about goats, and I'm catching up with the yoga. But now I know a little bit about yoga too.
So how I found you is because one of my partners, my coworkers, is obsessed with goats.
Awesome.
And I didn't know that it exists, like goat yoga.
Yeah.
So what is goat yoga? Why did you come up with it?
So I actually didn't come up with it. There was a person in Oregon that came up with it, and then we were the third in the nation to get established. So it was Oregon, Arizona, then us. And so the reason I see, so goats are naturally super inquisitive. So they want to chew and like kind of nibble on everything. So that would be you in the case. And then also they like to jump on flat surfaces to either reach vegetation or get away from predators. So that makes them the perfect kind of yoga partner, because when you're down doing like our seated sequence, they are jumping on your backs, jumping on your tummy, like actually being involved in the yoga. And we use pygmy goats so they don't get so heavy that you're like, because some people they're like, there's no 300-pound goats here. I'm like, no, because you would break your back. Mm-hmm. And so, doing the pygmy goats, they're cute on top of it. So to me, that just made like kind of the perfect mixture. And when I saw it, I was like, I am on Lamb and Goat with Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, and one of my girlfriends from there, Ashley, tagged me in the one from Oregon and was like, hey, let's go do this. So I get on their website and there was a 3,000 person waiting list. And I was like, I'm not a waiter. I'm more of a let's get it going, like let's do it. I was like, so Ashley, I was like, hold my beer, like even though I don't drink, but that kind of mentality. Mm-hmm. And so then I started putting things together, and we put up the classes on Eventbrite for Butler's Courtyard because they were willing to take a chance, because they were ripping up all their landscaping and redoing it because goats run landscaping. So they let us have our first classes there, and they were just selling out and selling out and selling out. And so, and 3 years later, we're still surviving.
You worked for a corporation like for 15 years.
Yeah.
And you opened this business. So was it more because you want to be an entrepreneur, or was it more because you like yoga and goats altogether?
That's a good question. I would have to go with, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, because right now I'm also working on 3 other businesses that I own, like LLCs. So I've always wanted to work for myself. All my parents own their own businesses. So I guess growing up, that's what I knew. And I like the ability to set my own hours and, go off to Mexico and, swim with whale sharks, or whatever it may be. And so this gives me the freedom to do what I want. And for me, especially a Texan, there's no bigger quality of life than having the freedom to choose when you're going to work, where you're going to work, and how you want to work, and get to say what you want to say. So I think it would definitely be, I always had entrepreneur in my blood. So
do you believe that some people own entrepreneurship mindset and some people don't?
Oh yeah, totally. Entrepreneur mindset, you have to be able to go in there and people are going to tell you you're terrible. People, especially, the reviews, now with social media and all that stuff, if you don't have thick skin, you won't make it. And if you don't go all the way in, because that was my thing. So at first, remember, I was telling you that I was still working my corporate job, and then I opened this, and I was doing both. Mm-hmm. And then finally, it got off well enough where I felt like I could quit my corporate job. But you have to have that drive to do both, or either have a lot of money put up, which I didn't. And so, there's definitely a drive, because, I was working, I would work my regular job about 55 to 60 hours, and then I would do goat yoga on the weekend, and then the goats also need care during the week. So it's definitely, yeah, you have to jump with both feet in, or you're just, you won't give up that corporate, because corporate, I mean, it has health insurance. I don't have health insurance right now, but the peace of mind that I get, so much better than health insurance. So yeah, I think it's definitely a mindset.
So look, goat yoga is quite different type of business. It's not a restaurant, it's not a salon. So you don't have like a plan, you don't have a prediction of what's gonna happen.
No.
You don't have a structure. So how, like, what was your motive to start it?
Well, honestly, so I told you about Ashley tagging me in that thing, and so I remember it was June 14th, because it's Flag Day, and it's also my sister's birthday, and it was 3 years ago. And we were all at dinner, and my dad was sitting next to me, and I was telling him, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this goat yoga thing, it's gonna be awesome. And he was like, yeah, don't quit your day job. And I was like, all right. So at that point it became, I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm gonna be successful, because I know other people are driven with like other things, but I guess proving my parents wrong really drives me, I guess, is the thing. And so, he was like, don't quit your day job, and then the classes started, and then he called me, I'll remember it was in November, so I'd been doing it for about 4 months, and he called me into his office, like at the big dealership, and I was like, that could either be good or bad. And then he said, Rachel, and I was like, yes, sir. He goes, it's time to quit your day job. And so that to me was like a level of achievement, because he was like, no, he's like, you have this. He's like, you don't need corporate anymore. And so for your parent that is an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur, that meant a lot to me.
So as you said, as he said, like your dad had these doubts, right? And it always happens when you have experimental type of things.
Yeah.
Like people will be, it's not judgment. I think they're just scared.
They're scared. Yeah, well, he didn't want me to quit my corporate job and then like, oh, this doesn't work, and then you don't have a job.
My excuse for them is because they're scared for you. What's gonna happen if you fail?
Yeah.
So how did you get through it? Like when your dad and your family is like, probably you have to like keep working on your day.
Yeah, I had to keep both jobs, and then I just kept my eye on the prize. Like, I knew what I wanted, and I was gonna get it, and nobody was gonna stop me. So that's just kind of the mindset you have to have, especially like you said, with like an unconventional business, and you have to think of different ways to reach your customer. So like, for example, you remember the shutdown, the however many days it was. So we, to keep in touch with like our audience, we played goat poop bingo. So I made this huge tarp and then painted numbers on it, and we put the goats on there, and wherever they poop, it was B1, whatever. But we had hits from, we sent, and we gave out gift cards. So I sent out gift cards to New York. I sent gift cards out to Massachusetts. We had Houston winners, but that's how I kept my audience engaged. So that's what I mean. It's like a willingness in your mind to never give up. You just got to keep on going and hoping, like something's going to happen.
But what about opinions of other people? Like they just keep saying, like they just don't believe in you.
But it's not that they don't believe in me. I think it's more of they think the idea is weird or different. Especially, my dad's 70. He's like, he's never even done yoga. So, so he thought it was way out of the park. But, everybody has a different goal in life and a different state of mind, and, so.
You're just, like, for example, you're just listening what other people says, and you just keep going. Like, so how do you reach it? Like, how did it work for you?
Really by not listening to what other people said, because a lot of people were very negative, or they were like, oh, this is going to be a 6-month thing, something like that. And so just in my mind, I kept praying about it, hoping things were going to turn out well. And if they didn't, I knew I had, I'm a graduate of the University of Texas in Austin, so I do have, a degree. So I knew I could fall back on that. And I don't have children except for my kids in the barn that you can hear screaming at this time. So, that also made it a lot easier for me to be able to let everything go. My sisters, for example, they started a business, but one's a high school principal and one's a high school counselor. And they never let their other jobs go, so they couldn't focus their full attention on their new entrepreneurship business. And so it failed because they weren't both feet in. And so that's what I always try to do with anything. Like we did goat to meetings during the pandemic where we dressed the goat up and they would call and sing, on like Zoom and happy birthday to you. It's just always about being inventive, keep on going. And you have to have both heels dug in and be like, I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep on going and this is going to be successful. And so it's a mindset.
Did you like come up with your own rules for yourself, like some key rules that help you to get through it?
Yeah, so definitely, like for one of my key rules, and like this is something any entrepreneur should know, the thing that you are despising most, like you go to bed and you're like despising like something you have to do the next day, that's the first thing I do. So that way I get the worst thing done the first thing in the morning, and the rest of my day, it may not be a cakewalk, but it's, like the thing that's like bothering me or driving me crazy, I know there's a check mark there, it's done. And so I can go on and really be like aggressive with my day and get things done because I got the hardest thing done first. So that would be my advice to any entrepreneur is get that hardest thing done. And it's actually from Kedge Cook, he owns Cook Ford. I worked for him for a little while, and he's the one that told me that. He's like, Rachel, always do the thing you don't want to do first in the morning. He's like, and the rest of the day is a breeze, like, because you've gotten the hardest thing done for that day. So I do live by that motto. And then I yoga every morning to kind of stretch and work out. I do think working out really helps any entrepreneur because they're under so much stress. So those are my two things, is really taking care of yourself mentally and physically, and then also first thing out of bed, get the thing done that you don't want to do, because then the rest of your day it's like, yay, that's over. So it's like awesome. Or that's what I do.
Also, you said about the guy you worked with.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think like you need a mentor when you were an entrepreneur? Who's gonna teach you?
I was his sales associate for Hearst Media. So let me back up. So if I could have had a mentor, I think it would have been a huge, awesome thing to do, because I had to learn about hiring CPAs, taxes, all kinds of stuff. I was a government major at Texas, so government and history. So that didn't get you too far. But yeah, if you can get a mentor, one of my good friends owns Price Right Movers. He has a mentoring group he goes to once a week. And honestly, I call him after that and I'm like, what'd you get? Because they always are sharing ideas and things like that. So yes, if you have the ability to get a mentor, get one, because they're going to keep you on the right road and then just give you some other tips that they've learned along the way, and you don't have to learn them the hard way like I did. So yeah, I wish I would have had a mentor, and yeah, definitely if
but
you
it's not necessary.
No, it's not necessary, but it's helpful. It's very helpful, because even I've called and asked guidance for my parents since they own businesses and stuff like that. I wouldn't call them a mentor, but if it was like, hey, like, they would give me their at least advice. So it's nice to have somebody at least to bounce ideas off the wall with, you know what I mean? So a mentor, yes, definitely. If you can have one or one, that's going to be your best bet.
So last question.
Okay.
Does dream come true?
What do you mean?
Does dreams come true?
Do dreams come true?
Yes.
Whew. I am a very realist, and so I've seen dreams come true. I've seen miracles happen, so I'm gonna give that a yes. I mean, just in general, yeah, dreams can come true, but dreams are only going to come true with how hard you work at them. So, because I have plenty of friends that want to start their own business and do this and this and this, but they don't want to put in the work. So you can dream all you want, but unless you have the drive and you're going to put in the work, then dreams don't come true. Now, if you have drive and you're going to do it, then your dream can come true. It's all depending on how hard you want to work for that dream. And everybody's dream's different. Some people, they love, being a mom, and that was their dream, and that's awesome. And then some people, dream of, running 5 Fortune 500 companies, which I don't, but you know what I mean? Everybody's different. So it's really putting in your time and effort into it, and that's going to make your dream come true.
Thank you, you, Rachel, for the interview. If you want to share something with our audience, you can do it.
Yes, so we would love to have you at a class. We have just moved to our new location in Pearland, Texas. It's goatyogahouston.com. Also, if you want to follow us on Facebook, Goat Yoga Houston, and then our Instagram, Goat Yoga _Houston. Something about I filmed a live birth and didn't put a caution sign, so that one's locked up. So we'd love to have anyone at the class. We prefer the ages of 9 and up, just because there are horns, even though our goats are pygmy goats and things like that. But look us up, goatyogahouston.com. You can book your class right on our website, and the calendar's up, and yeah. And things are about to get kind of spooky because it's October, so the goats will be wearing their Halloween costumes. So they aren't as excited about that as the customers are, but yes.
So thank you guys for watching. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. See you soon.